Welcome back to another tying video. Today I want to talk about the Chicken Noodle Soup fly. Okay, I'm going to give you guys 3 reasons why I love the Chicken Noodle Soup fly. Reason number 1 that I like this fly so much is that it's an attractor, and I know I sound like a broken record on this, but having the ability to look like a lot of different food types and being unobtrusive to the fish can be very effective. Giving the fish no reason not to eat your fly a lot of times is a good thing. Okay, reason number 2 that I like this fly so much is that it works great in tandem. A lot of times I'll be running 2 flies on my rig, and I like those 2 flies to have a lot of contrast to each other. So, you know, a lot of times I'll be running like a perdigon along with the Chicken Noodle Soup, and there's that contrast of a lighter fly and a darker fly, or a different profile on the fly. So that's really important to me, is that I have contrast in the 2 flies that I'm fishing. Okay, reason number 3 may not surprise you guys, but a lot of the flies I like to fish work everywhere. This fly, because it's a variation of a Walt's worm with just a little bit of added movement, works well across the world. It's been proven over time, and I know this is a variation of that fly, but because that fly is so successful, I have confidence in this fly to work everywhere, and I have fished it all across the western United States with great success. So let's get into tying that fly now. Okay, I have a Fulling Mill 5125 hooking device along with a Hannock 3.5mm pink slotted bead. I tie this fly in a bunch of different sizes and with a bunch of different colored beads. Don't worry about the bead color. I like pink a lot, but if you don't have it, anything will work. We're gonna take that thread all the way back to the bend of the hook, and then we're gonna come back forward, kind of seat that. That bead's not quite in there as tight as we'd like, so we're gonna seat that. We're gonna take our amber wire. This fly's a little bit of a clown show with this wire and bead color, but I like the contrast. I jam that wire up in behind the bead, coming all the way back just like this. Now we're going to use our fox squirrel dubbing. I like this a lot because it's pretty buggy dubbing. It has a lot of guard hairs in there. And I'm going to create a thin noodle. This fly is essentially a variation of a Walt's worm, and what I like about it is it's slightly more complicated than a Walt's worm. It's still pretty simple, so you can bust these out, a lot of these, really quick. Bunch of different sizes, colors. I like copper bead a lot too, and then a silver bead. Those are kind of my 3. Pink, copper, silver is kind of my 3 bead colors that I'll use. Gonna kind of taper this a little bit on there, all the way forward. You can see it's a pretty short body on this size hook, and all those guard hairs you can see. So I really like, but you can trim those up if you decide you don't like them. So I wrapped the thread away from me, so I'm gonna wrap this wire towards myself just to kind of counter wrap that. And there we go. Capture that. It's a flat wire that's pretty cool. That's, I think, a pretty new product. Helicopter that off. Okay. Now, gonna grab our twister and create a dubbing loop for this fly, and that's what we're gonna put our CDC in. So just double that over. You can see it capture that. There's a loop there now. Kind of capture this loop and take our CDC feather, and we're gonna jam this up in there just like that, and we only need half of this feather, one side of it, so we're gonna come in with our scissors and trim this off just like this. There's tools for this. I do the cheap way. I'm gonna twist this up, nice little brush there, and then we're just gonna wrap this a few times around here for the collar, just like that. There we go. Kind of cinch down on that a little bit so it doesn't spin. Come in here and poke that out. Okay, so now we've got our CDC and our body. the last step here is to add just a little bit of contrast between the body and the bead. And what I do that with is some Hin Spectra Dub. This is 420. It's kind of a black and green color. You could use almost anything for this. It's just to create a little bit of contrast. In fact, I think something like any sort of green and black dubbing would work. So see there, now we have that contrast between the bead, the body, and the dubbing. We're just going to do a few whip finishes in here, make sure this is good and tight. And you can see that is a super quick fly that catches fish. It's kind of my, you can go ahead and trim up some of these guard hairs if you want. I usually leave them, but some people like a little bit more of a shown profile, or you know, want to clean that up just a little bit. That is your finished fly that I love to fish in tandem with another fly. Fish it.